is Breaking News Alert.
For the second time in less than a month, severe storms roll through central Ohio, packing with them hail, strong winds, and tornadoes. We have team coverage as crews survey the damage. Stephanie Haynock visited a shelter that has opened for people who need it. Kate Seifert attended a news conference held by the Logan County Sheriff a short time ago. But we begin with Mike McCarthy live in Logan County, where search and rescue operations are happening now. Mike?
Kurt, we are coming to you live here from Orchard Island, right near Russell's Point, and what you see right back here behind us is the bridge to get onto this island. The second you get to the island, I want to show you the kind of devastation that you see. It is right over here, homes that have been knocked over, rolled, and destroyed. We are also hearing, though, from some people who have property here on this island, but they can't get to their homes because just beyond this pickup truck, there are a bunch of flashing lights. You can see a state highway patrol cruiser making its way out because right back there at the end of this island, there is that ongoing search effort underway even now at the noon hour. A secondary search of Orchard Island got underway after sunup this morning with dogs, heavy machinery, and more. The Washington Township Police Chief told us overnight they got to as many homes as they could. But today we learned some spots weren't able to be reached because of downed lines, gas leaks, and other potential dangers. The search has postponed when Brian Bell can check on his property. He's been through several tornadoes already and said this is some of the worst damage he's seen.
Oh, war zone. Walking through here, this is terrible.
He said it'd probably be later tonight.
But it's a strong community. They all pitch in. Everybody have it back together, hopefully by summer. It's going to take a long time, though, with all the wreckage we've seen.
Spend a Day Marina suffered major damage. This morning, the priority was securing the building. A manager told me it was too soon to know what the next steps are for the business beyond that at this point. And we're bringing you back here live to Orchard Island, giving you a look at a search underway here in a separate neighborhood. Right now, we just saw these firefighters looking in the windows of these mobile homes to make sure no one is inside. Kurt, based upon my previous time up here at the lake, these homes here are mostly used on the weekends and in the summer. Not many people live there, if any, all year round, but the concern is making sure there is no one in any of these homes. Brian Bell, the homeowner you just heard from moments ago, despite not knowing what his property looks like, told me his major concern right now is not his home, but his neighbors. He has still not heard from some of them who do live here on the island year round. Overnight, police did confirm one of the 3 people killed in this tornado died here, being found dead in a home overnight. We'll keep you updated as these searches continue in the hours ahead. In the meantime, let's check in with Kate Seifert, who got that update this morning from a number of emergency officials on the status of the damage here in the Indian Lake region. Kate.
Hey, Mike, yeah, and we're going to get you to some more of that information from those officials in just a moment. But I do want to show you the damage that our crews have been observing here in the Lakeview area over the last several hours. You can see debris from what was a home behind me. And if you just take a look down the street, this whole neighborhood completely destroyed by this storm that came through late last night. Now, as Mike mentioned, we were in a news conference earlier today with some officials, including the Logan County Sheriff, and they confirm, and as we have mentioned, 3 people are dead because of this storm. They also say they don't, right now at least, have a reason to believe if other people are unaccounted for at this time. But of course, that is something that can be updated as the day progresses. Logan County Sheriff Randy Dodds says crews are continuing to conduct searches all across the area today.
We did searches last night more than one time, and we felt it was important today in the daylight to go back and recheck those areas on top of those that we couldn't get to. See, last night it was extremely difficult because we could not get back to Orchard Island because of gas leaks and power lines down and trees, and we did as best search as we could, but there's many places we couldn't get to. So we're going to recheck those areas again, plus there's many places back there that are collapsed. and we need to go back with heavy equipment to move those to make sure that there's anybody injured back there or possibly deceased.
Now, as we take you back out here live in Lakeview, we want to show you once again some of the damage and things left behind. The lake is just right over this hill right here, but there is a chair, maybe that was on a patio in this neighborhood, at this neighborhood Lakeview home. Of course, that does not exist anymore. Now, one thing that we heard from community members today, they were asking law enforcement, how can they help? How can they help families who lived in this house that we're showing you right now? The sheriff says they do have a ton of hands on deck right now, and they want to keep the area as uncrowded as possible while they conduct the searches. But they do say if you do want to help, you can donate food, trash bags, paper products, and those can all be taken to Indian Lake High School. Another thing we do want to point out is that we did learn that Governor Mike DeWine will be here in this area within the next hour or so. He's expected to be here around 1 o'clock. We do have a crew that will follow along with the governor as he surveys all of the damage here, and we'll of course bring you another live report on that later today. But for now, live on your side in Lakeview, I'm Kate Seifert, ABC 6 News.
All right, thank you, Kate. That damage is so devastating. Let's take a look outside right now. The sky is still gray. Temperatures are slowly falling across the area. Meteorologist Jim Ganal here with what we can expect for the rest of the day. Hey, Jim.
Hi, Kurt. Well, we've had sprinkles, rain showers, and drizzle in the wake of the cold front that has moved through here. And look at how much rain fell overnight. The yellows and oranges, generally 1 to 3 inches of rain. And those spots also had hail as well, too. Now, the number of tornadoes in Ohio won't be confirmed for a while. The National Weather Service is out exploring the damage at the current time. There are all the hail reports out of Indiana and into Ohio as well. Indiana was hit just as hard as we were, too. The temperatures are falling in the wake of the cold front. It's 48 in Columbus today, down 25 degrees from yesterday, and wind chill factors already down in the 30s. It's going to get very cold tonight.
Thanks, Jim. Still ahead here at noon, the Huntsville Fire Department is opening its doors as a shelter following those devastating storms. Stefanich Haynock breaking down what you need to know if you're in need of help right now. We also have boots on the ground in Delaware County after the line of storms moved through there. Tom Bosco tracking the cleanup efforts and the damage coming up at 12:16. More humanitarian aid is on its way to Gaza as the war rages on in the Middle East. Still ahead, what a global organization is sending right now. A ship carrying around 200 tons of humanitarian aid has arrived near the coast of Gaza. That food is from the charity group World Central Kitchen. CNN reporting a group of Palestinian civilians were gathered there on the shoreline waiting for the ship to approach. World Central Kitchen says the shipment contains rice, flour, legumes, canned protein, and canned vegetables. Our live coverage continues this afternoon following a string of deadly storms across Ohio. The damage many are seeing in Delaware County straight ahead. Brand new images into the newsroom from Dark County. After the break, what we're now hearing from the sheriff's office after they received several reports of funnel clouds last night.
Great. Yeah, check, 212, 1224. Mike's a little hidden because it's windy. How's it sound? We okay? Great.
Our team coverage continues now. Shelters open in Logan County to give tornado victims a place to rest and recuperate. We continue with Stefanich Haynock, who visited one of the shelters in Logan County.
I'm here at Huntsville Fire Department. Now, this is just one of many of the emergency shelters that the Logan County Sheriff's Office released this morning earlier, just after that overnight tornado destroyed so many different areas. This is an inside look at the shelter. There are seats down here. This is underground, the fire department. There's a television. They have a refrigerator, a microwave, and they say that this area is open to anyone in need of shelter following the extreme destruction we saw this morning. Now, I spoke to the fire chief here, and he tells me that he's been here since last night and that A family of 5 was actually traveling during this storm and had to pull over in fear of their car being lifted up. They felt the tires slightly being lifted, and that's when they came here for shelter. They opened the doors, and that family of 5 was here in this basement area for about 2 hours before taking off and continuing their journey. Now, the fire chief says they're going to keep this area open to anyone for at least the next couple of days, depending on the demand and the amount of people that end up showing up. But again, this is open to everyone. He also mentioned that already this morning they have been receiving calls from various people wanting to donate food, water, clothing, and he wants to get the word out that all of those donations can be dropped off here at the Huntsville Fire Department, and he will be collecting them, gathering them, and then he'll disperse them to anyone out there who needs a little help in this time. Now, a full list of all of the emergency shelters open is on our website, and again, this is the Huntsville Fire Department, open to all. I'm Stephanie Chaynock on your side. Back to you.
While a significant amount of the damage was in Logan County, other counties are also assessing after last night's storms. ABC 6's Tom Bosco is live in Delaware County, where at least one farm was badly damaged. Tom?
Yeah, you know, here in this side of Delaware County here, kind of the Berlin Township area, there is a great amount of damage here. And of course, we'll leave it to the National Weather Service to decide whether this was a tornado or something else, straight line winds or whatever. There is a lot of damage, and it really doesn't matter to the folks here who have got all of this damage. We do know that there is damage to Berlin High School and Middle School, which are nearby. We also know that there is a shelter in the city of Delaware for anybody who may be displaced. That's at the YMCA on Houck Road. But let's tell you about this right now. This farm, you can see here, take a look, the barn behind me. It's got that roof ripped off there. There's pieces of metal all over here. Show you a little bit of video of that I shot just a little while ago here. This is the farm of Francis McNamara. He's in his 80s. He says he has lived on this farm since he was 2 years old here in Berlin Township in Delaware County. Says that last night, of course, they heard the storms. They went to the basement. He says they've been to the basement before, and he kind of figured this was just going to be another one of those situations where they were in the basement and came out and found that really nothing had happened. He describes what he heard while he and his wife were huddling in the basement last night.
They said the storm was coming and everything, so we decided we better go to the basement. Went to the basement, and we was down in the basement, and all of a sudden the house started shaking, and you could hear it sounded like the roof went off. We thought we lost the house. It sounded like it was raining in.
He tells me his house is fine, but the farm obviously suffering some serious damage and all this damage and debris around. Also in this area, power lines, those big power lines that you see often crisscrossing Delaware County. At least 2 of those went down. You can see these very close to Berlin High School and Middle School. And also closer to the city of Delaware, MTSO, that's the Methodist Theological Seminary in Ohio. They had damage as well. You could see some trees down on their campus as well. So certainly there are more stories to tell. There's another one of our photographers who is in this area getting some video, so we'll bring you that. Also, I have some video that I'll share with you later from folks in the city of Delaware during the height of the storm, and I've heard everybody talking. The lightning and the hail were just spectacular. The good news is it does not appear that in Delaware County anyone was injured, so certainly all this property can be replaced, but the good news is that no one was hurt here. More coming up in about a half an hour from Delaware County, but for now, live on your side in Berlin Township, I'm Tom Bosco, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Tom. Now to a look at some of the extensive damage in Darke County. That's in western Ohio. The Darke County Sheriff's Office receiving reports of funnel clouds and a possible tornado east of Union City. We know at least 2 people were taken to the hospital in that county with non-life-threatening injuries. As we toss it over to Jim, I guess the good news, Jim, is those severe storms are gone now. So we're kind of in recovery mode in those other areas, and maybe we can look forward to some better weather.
But everybody's enjoyed the warmth of the winter and into the spring. But this is the problem you get into when it's warm this early and another Arctic blast comes down. That contrast of air masses produces storms like this.
Got it.
And I suspect after the surveys today, we will have had more tornadoes in the last 2 weeks than we normally get in a year.
Is that
in
right?
Ohio, yeah.
Wow.
So it's been pretty bad. We had 9 last time. I'm thinking 7 or 8 this time. Light rain showers are moving away from us in the wake of the cold front. The clouds will linger into the night, and then we'll have some fog. Another cold front comes through on Saturday night, but it's already going to be fairly chilly, and it'll drop our temperatures more on Sunday. So if you're headed to the zoo, Buckeye Lake, or Hocking Hills, only about 50 degrees today with brisk winds out of the northwest. Your travel forecast is not too bad for the weekend. A few showers off of Lake Erie, but that's just about it. Right now at John Glenn, it's 48, north wind at 15 miles per hour. This is a 20-degree drop in temperatures in just the last 24 hours. We see this over and over again. The Bassett heating and cooling current conditions, it's 44 degrees to the northwest on average, low 50s to the southeast, and the wind chill factors upper 30s to the low 50s at the current time. Central Ohio stays around 50 most of the afternoon. There'll be a big drop after midnight tonight. Colder air, International Falls at 36, Marquette at 37. That's coming in the first of next week. 38 is your low tonight. Cloudy, brisk, and colder. During the day tomorrow, 60 with afternoon sunshine. It'll be pleasant later in the day. And the extended forecast, 50 on Sunday, 39 with a few flakes of snow on Monday.
Fani Willis is allowed to remain as prosecutor in former President Trump's election interference case in Georgia on one condition. The judge releasing his decision just hours ago, writing there was no conflict of interest, presenting Willis with 2 options. ABC's Perry Russum is in Washington with the update.
Today, a judge in Georgia ruling Fani Willis can remain as prosecutor in Donald Trump's election interference case. Trump's lawyers accused Willis of benefiting financially from hiring prosecutor Nathan Wade to her team, creating a conflict of interest. Willis said that wasn't true.
I don't need anything from a man. A man is not a plan.
Judge Scott McAfee writing Trump's team failed to meet their burden of proving that the district attorney acquired an actual conflict of interest in this case. But McAfee adds a significant appearance of impropriety infects the current prosecution team. The judge presenting Willis with two options. She may choose to step aside along with the whole of her office, or Special Prosecutor Wade can withdraw. The timeline of the Willis-Wade relationship was in question, with Trump's team saying they started dating before he was hired. Both Willis and Wade testified their relationship started after.
In November of 2021, I hired him. I do not consider our relationship to have become romantic until early of 2022.
The judge writing neither side was able to conclusively establish when they became romantic. McAfee writing, an odor of mendacity remains. Trump has pleaded not guilty in this case. His lawyer released a statement after the ruling, writing they will use all legal options available as they continue to fight the case. They could appeal this decision, which could push a trial date further down the road. It could bump right up against the presidential election. Perry Russom, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up at 12:30, our team coverage continues following last night's deadly storms. Mike McCarthy tracking the recovery efforts at Orchard Island as thousands of people begin to rebuild their lives. And we'll take you live to Lakeview as search and rescue crews continue recovery efforts there. Kate Seifert has the latest in these devastating storms. And the storms are out of central Ohio, but how does the weekend look? Jim Ganal back with his weekend forecast when ABC 6 News at noon continues.